Hello and welcome to the Quever channel. I am Jason, your host, and this is going to be a controversial one. Oh yes, I expect some dislikes on this. Damn. I stand with Israel. Sorry. Sorry if that makes me a monster to some people. But you know me, I can't lie, I can't deceive, I can't keep away from the issues that affect. But why do I? You see, most of the people having a go at Israel, most of the people jumping on the bandwagon have no real idea of what's going on. They don't. They watch their mainstream media, they get shoveled with all the clickbait, they get controlled by the masses. I don't go that way. Let me put something very simple. I do not hate Pakistan. I do not hate anyone in Gaza. I don't think Israel is perfect, but I think politicians, as many times, they screw things up. The whole history of creation of the Jewish state of Israel is flawed to fuck, to put it lightly. You give them a place to live, but you basically ostracize them against everybody around them. No country in the world really effectively, and I mean effectively, uses more of its GDP on the military. And here's the key: defensively. No other country in the world has got something like the Iron Dome. You don't create something like the Iron Dome to stop missiles hitting your people if they're not getting hit a lot. Through the proxy wars of Iran, supporting so many different people, Israel has been fighting for its existence, for its life, every single day since its inception. The moment it was created, it had hostile neighbors. Imagine that. In all your safe little countries where you whine and bitch about the problems over there. Imagine if pretty much every day of your existence, missiles are coming in, rockets are coming in, terrorist attacks happen on you. That nearly every country around you has said publicly that they want to destroy you with holy fire, that they want to completely wipe you out. This has created a very different mindset for the Israeli people than most people will ever understand. Me as well, I will never understand it. And while the Gaza Strip, while the displacement of those people was massively, massively wrong thing to do. I was listening to a friend in Israel on Discord the morning of the attack. The morning when the massive infiltration by Hamas. And people always forget about that. When they're railing against Israel, they forget that the simple fact is that how would your country have reacted? How would your town have reacted anywhere in the world if thousands of armed people crossed a border into your town, started to hunt down your children at a music festival, started to go through the kibbutz, the little areas out on the outside of your town, and burn people in the street, and go down with their trucks with their machine guns on the back of them, and go into your houses and drag your mother out, drag your daughter out, drag your family out, and try to take them back over the border. How would you have reacted? How would Americans have reacted if that had happened somewhere inside their borders? How would the British react? How would Europeans have reacted if that had happened? This wasn't a one-off. This wasn't a terrorist attack of small magnitude. This was a mass casualty event planned to inflict the most damage to human beings. Human beings who were just eating their breakfast. Human beings who were not even active members of the military. They were at a bloody music festival celebrating life. And the parents having to watch on TV as their children were run down. How many times has Israel had to evacuate its people along the borders because missiles are coming in from every fucking direction? Most of it's fueled by Iran's proxy wars, by funding the Houthis, by funding everybody else. And so they have become a militaristic, mostly defensive, I will say mostly defensive, force. And none of us can understand that. Until you're sitting at home in your house or in your backyard like me, and you're watching the sky for a rocket to come in from just over the border, then then you've got a right to make a judgment on this. Then you've got a right to. And of course, then you're going to tell me all the things, horrific attacks. And yes, they are horrific. But just maybe, maybe there's a chance. I mean, I know this is totally against what you're going to think, but there's maybe the Israel intelligence about where the terrorists are, where Hamas has its command points, and that is better than yours. Now, let's look at it from another angle. I said this was going to be controversial. Let's say I was part of Hamas. Do I keep my people in their little bunkers? Do I keep my people away from the public? Or do I hide within the hospitals? Do I hide within the actual refugee camps? Oh, we wouldn't do that. Bullshit. Bullshit. It's guerrilla mode 101. There's a reason that tunnels that Hamas dug came out into the basements and the grounds of hospitals because they believed that Israel wouldn't touch them there. There's a reason that Hamas stored their grab bags of ammo, weapons, and equipment inside hospitals and inside refugee camps because they believed, just like they believed when they took over 200 prisoners and hostages normal innocent people back, they believed that would stop Israel from fighting back. And of course, the media out there is complicit. Every single attack is an atrocity. Everything. I'm not saying there isn't there. I'm not saying people aren't dying. I'm not saying that there isn't massive starvation. There is. It needs to stop. But I do say this, that this is not a one-sided problem. If you look back at Vietnam, look at the way America acted. Look at the way the only reason that America wasn't really done for all the war crimes and the things that they did during the Vietnam War against the Vietnamese was because we didn't have all this media attention. It's a simple truth. Try to go places like ground.news and find out your news from there. Try to look for places with a bit of unbiasedness. I believe there is a massive tragedy going on in Gaza. But I also understand that when you've got a terrorist organization that you're fighting, a terrorist organization that is funded by a very wealthy Middle East country and has been propagated over years, if you stop before you have rooted the entire thing out and remove the threat from starting in, it will just perpetuate. I'm sorry, but there is no good wars. Wars are never pretty, never clean. It's not like the Hollywood movies. And when you're facing a situation like this, I'm sympathetic to the Palestinian people. I'm sympathetic to those in Gaza that have no food, no access to anything. But you've got to understand something very simple here. Israel has a right not only to defend itself, but to make sure that their borders are never breached again. That what happened can't happen again. Not easy. We're dying. Children are dying. Everybody's dying. It's war. It happens, sadly. But don't think that any country is any better than any other. The simple fact is, probably most people will just read my title to the video and without actually watching the video, give me a dislike or something. I heard the fear on my friends in Discord. I know they had to evacuate their entire household. I've lost touch with some people I know over there. I don't know whether they survived the attack or not still, because I only knew them through Discord. I still believe that Israel has the right to make sure that this will never happen again. And if that means, unfortunately, dealing with a population which and not allowing stuff into the borders and that because terrorists might be coming, because weaponry might be coming through, because we don't know. How can they know for certain? None of us in the West have ever dealt with a level of hatred that Israel has faced over the years around them. And they know they can spin the hospital deaths, they can spin the tragedies, all of the starvation and everything to make it Israel into a bad guy. So easy to do that. And it makes wonderful media clickbait. So yeah. This is Jason for the Clever channel. I hope you're okay.